Hey Cherries, it's Jenna. It's snowing right now. Ooh. I'm back in my backyard. I wanted to film a video outside because today's video's all about changing your environment. So change your environment and change your life, but only under these conditions. If you're interested, keep watching. And look how much snow there is on this table. So much snow. So I recently moved back to Canada from Korea where I was, and it was definitely a big change of scenery, but the decision itself wasn't easy because sometimes even though you change the background, things don't change because you're still the same person. But I realized after this time around, because I moved back and forth a lot between Korea and Canada in my 20s, and I just remember feeling very defeated after having the change of scenery and nothing's really changed in my life. I wanted to share these 3 conditions that I think it makes sense to change your environment and change your life for the better. The first condition: you should move when your environment is not inspiring. So this is not something you can judge, maybe not over a couple of days, but over the months and years. You're just not inspired by place that you're in. Essentially, like, you are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. So sometimes people are nice, but the environment itself is just so demotivating, not growing you in any way. Then you need to make a decision to change that environment, because once you move out, the people who actually you align with, they will most likely move with you. But if not, the uninspiring environment and uninspiring people would usually just stay where they are. This is after you've searched for any other alternatives to stay in that environment and you still are not satisfied because it's not growing you or evolving you to the next level. Then you should consider changing your environment. Second tip I have: are you willing to eat the sandwich that come with changing the environment? So for example, if you're changing a job, you probably need to work on your resume, cover letter, and go for interviews and deal with all that uncertainties and getting used to the new people. If you're willing to go through that struggle, then it definitely makes sense to try changing your environment, especially when your current environment is not working for you. But if you're not willing to go through all that struggle and making new friends at work, well, then it makes sense not to go change your environment. So which sandwich are you willing to eat? So this is not something I came up with, but writer Mark Manson, he came up with this term and a lot of people have said about it. And so it's basically, what are you willing to struggle for in life to get what you want? That is really the key to success. So third tip I have: think of the worst case of changing the environment. So say even though you change your jobs, you still hate your boss or you still don't like your job, then what's gonna happen? So maybe then that career is just not the right one for you. But if you can handle that result of changing the environment and things still staying the same, then you should try changing the environment. Because if you are not ready to take that maybe blow or failure that comes with taking the risk, because always calculated risk pays off. So if you're willing to take the worst case scenario of changing your environment. So for me, even though I came back to Canada, but you know what, it's so possible that I might not like it here again, then I need to deal with the consequences of having made this decision and maybe having to go back to Korea or somewhere else. But I was totally on board with taking that as my worst case scenario. I mean, it's not even the worst case, but you get the point. Like, you're just preparing for the case where things are not turning out what you thought to be. And there are a lot of worse things in life that you actually don't, want to prepare for. So, I mean, be thankful for just knowing that worst case scenario before you change your environment. So, I know I've said a few tips, but if you want a quick summary, feel like it's time to change your environment, it's time to go, it is time to go. But once you make that decision in your heart, all these other reasons will reveal themselves as you start changing your environment, and you can take them as signs from God or signs from the universe that they are actually helping you change the environment. So I hope this episode of Life at Cherries is helpful, and if you liked it, please like this video and share it with a friend who might be wanting to change their environment, either work or relationship or the place they're living. And I will see you in the next video. Nature is everywhere. It's so nice. So this is my backyard. Guys, just being in nature just puts you in a better mood. Look, imagine that's your Christmas tree.